Glad. Thank you for joining us, Ian. It's we're looking forward to this. We're looking forward to sharing just informal chat about what we're planning on doing, what we've got here, what we future plans are, how the beta's going, all those sort of things. I think one of the things that's very important to say, Chris and I were talking about this earlier, is that we want everybody to have a say as much as possible on what we're doing. We want as much feedback as we can get, and just everybody to pitch in and say, yeah, we want more of this or less of that. And, we spent a lot of time developing this, a lot of time developing it, but we haven't got all the answers. We want our members to basically take an active role and say, yeah, this is good for us, or this is working, or just tell us.
Right. I mean, this system is designed almost like, hey, Ian, you're a part of the board of directors. That's how it works. So you want to be
Yeah.
on a board of directors? What is it like? If anybody
Mm,
asks, this is it. This is where, okay,
yeah.
who decides where everything goes, right? And the difference is this system is set up completely democratic. There's
Yeah.
no other system. I've never heard of a company that
Mm,
has a democratic system
mm.
within their decision-making process. It doesn't exist that I know about. I mean, Mr. Fincher, Ian, have you ever heard of a company like that yet?
The
Not
nearest
one that's successful.
yeah, nearest is a cooperative, but even they have boards that make a lot of decisions. Not, it's a bit lip service to membership, I think, in the end. You agree?
Right.
Yeah, but I would think that the reason most companies don't have that is because their shared vision or goal in the end is self profits. It's about the company. It's
Yes.
not about
Oh, yeah.
literally taking whatever we get and helping people with it. And
Yeah.
I think that's the fundamental difference where it would work in this circumstance.
Mm,
I think the other reason it would work in this circumstance is because I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that the only real people who are going to be in here is mostly veterans. And veterans are
yes.
all really disciplined, and we all have a loyalty to each other that other
Mm,
people
mm.
do not have and they will never have.
Yeah. 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 And that's something we absolutely totally value. I know I'm up front and say, I'm not a veteran, never had the opportunity to serve, but I've I've run social enterprises for many years, and this is one of the big reasons why I came into this, because I just believe in it. And I've always thought, why is it that people serve, they train and so hard, and they developed to to work within the military and serve the public, serve the community, and then when they finish, they're just almost like dropped into society, and I was like, oh, I've never really got my head around that. And then when this chance came up to work with Chris, and it's like change something that is a centuries old problem. Oh, where we've created this vision where we can change all that. Like, wow, yes, let's grab that, because you know it does have to be changed. It does have to be changed. It's a small drop in the ocean to start with, but if we get this right, it's going to have massive repercussions. It can change everything, which is why, we were talking before. We want to start with veterans, and then we want to move into having HUNDO for active duty, so we can capture active duty, get them prepared for civilian life, for being a veteran. One of the things we want to do long term is for veterans, our members, to put forward their best pieces of advice for active duty, and just share that, or capture that all different ways and share it. This is
Exactly.
we've got
There's
so many things going on that we want to do. Yeah,
that's a huge thing. So, right, we have
yeah,
this system that we developed as well, where
yeah,
literally we have a Wikipedia in a sense only for veterans and
yeah.
cultivating that self-development. For example, Mr. Ian, he literally does mind matter, like,
Yeah.
it's a type of,
Yeah.
right, you read into his profile a little bit, so you
Yes,
understand,
I had a look. Yes, yeah.
right,
Really
so,
interesting.
yeah, so, those kind of things can transfer over where you can
Absolutely.
give that free advice to these people, but at the same
Yeah.
time, you can also take care of yourself. So we have a lot of
Yeah.
programs we wanted to discuss today. What are some of the major bulletins we have today? We have the classified ad system we wanted to hit today.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
membership tiers. Those are
Yeah.
these are the immediate in development processes
Yeah.
that are currently on the bulletin. Uh, we have the type of leadership models that we want to express and
Mm.
design. So what I mean by that is we also have the course outline. So as we finalize our membership and iron out the classified ad system for veterans to have their own classified ad system, we will start rolling out our education system. Right
Yeah.
now, our education system isn't being active. It's more of an
Mm.
independent type where, hey, they
Mm.
need help with a business coach. They still contact Mr. Finch. This is an old system, right? We're being
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
schoolhouse here.
Mhm.
This is a different thing. You have 50
Yeah.
teachers of
Yes.
experts sitting behind an office desk, right?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
100, and you have any question, we are the experts in the field hitting that
Yeah.
answer. So you have a Google with the authority behind it, the education and training behind it to really direct these veterans. So let's say you got the business coaching. I have some business experience, but I got the VA aspect. I'm going to
Yeah.
be helping with Ian with his aspect. So it's
Yeah.
hand in hand here. So um,
Absolutely.
I
It's
got a
all
little
for the
bit
meeting.
back onto the bullet points, but those are the some of the major bullet points. And today we're going to announce suggestions and ideas.
Yeah.
How can we reward the beta personnel that are actively being here? Do we give them
Yeah.
unlimited ad space for their own company? We have to decide that it's still in the air,
Yeah.
but that's why we want to
Yeah.
kick it with the community and say, okay, what do you guys want? What do you guys
Yeah.
really feel gifted, but also taken care of, but giving back to the community at the same time, a nice balance.
Yeah.
So what can we do for the beta? So that's going to be a
Yeah.
surprise
Yeah.
conversation later on. And
Yeah.
does that cover the bulletins for today?
Yeah. And I think there's two sort of important elements to this. One is you rightly say we want to reward our beaters because they're giving us feedback, which is hugely valuable because everything that comes on the full launch is going to be refined in this beta phase. And so we really, really need as much engagement from all our members as possible. And the second part I wanted to say on that is that we're always going to have free membership, but there is a need for paid membership. And a large part of that is because, one, we want to be able to give extra to people, and two, we've got big running costs behind this, which we need to cover. And we don't want to be charging people, but we want to be rewarding at the same time. We're keeping those low. So, for example, as you know, Chris, we're going to need a more powerful server to cope with the whole system we're throwing at it. And we don't really want to be charging people for membership. We want to have a free membership, but by having paid membership tiers that enables us to bring in some revenue that's going to help us with the running costs. So these are all things going on in the background. We want to just sort of put this down on record. This is why we're doing it. We want everybody to receive this kind of support that they need. Some people will want more and prepared to pitch in a little bit of money towards that, which help, money goes back in,
Yeah,
and
there's
hence a
literally
paid membership.
there's individuals that are throwing donations towards our server now.
Yeah, yeah,
I checked the Stripe account and I was like, cool. Hey,
yeah.
so they're really believing in the
Fantastic.
system that we're applying. It means we have the turnkey. This means we don't have to pivot anymore. We don't have to find
Yes.
that
Yeah.
different direction. We don't have
Yeah.
we found what everyone's happy with. We found
Mm.
how they say, okay, we're getting great value and we feel appreciated and we feel so
Yeah.
appreciated that will give back. And that's a very fine, delicate aspect to find.
It is. It is. Yeah.
It took us what, 3 months, I would say, to really fine tune that.
Yes. A lot of brainstorming. A lot of brainstorming. Yeah.
But
Ian, have you got any thoughts on this?
Well, the first thing I wanted to say, and I'm not exactly sure where I got it from, but if you visualize something, if you get a dream and you can visualize it, it's within your means to accomplish.
Yep.
Because you can't imagine something you can't accomplish. So
Absolutely.
just as a little point of motivation towards everyone. Other than that,
I'm lit up right now. Now I'm totally like, yeah, I gotta drop this meeting. I gotta get back to some button mashing here. And
well, try not to let me distract you too much, because I know we talk too much.
You're in good company.
I try to be. But I distract myself from things I gotta do too. So, you know. But no, so far I'm on board. I like what we've got going. I honestly like Hundo is almost identical to something I was kind of trying to do with my own life in the first place, just a very different approach to it. And what I was trying to do was wasn't necessarily focusing on veterans, and it wasn't really a veteranized group, but it was basically the same thing. Just I hadn't thought of it on that level of a scale yet. So I'm excited to be part of the group. So thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Touch on something. Ian, you said something, and this is the most powerful thing, that if you picked it up very subtly, you said we.
Yes.
Do you see what that means? You feel part of something, and that is that is the core right there. You just hit it. This is a we situation. So God bless you. You literally feel like you're a part of this, and you can actually feel like this is mine as well. And this is yours. So that right there, God, that's gold. You can't ask for, so that's like, okay, rule 101, a happy worker produces good results, right? Of any business. Right?
Yeah.
You have that, you have a happy worker who produces good results, they're gonna produce better results within your company, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So if you have the entire constituents within a geographical area of your community saying we, they feel part, and they feel loved, and they feel cared for. So thank God for you hitting that 2-letter word.
Yeah. It's so powerful. Well, what we wanted all along was a whole community. And there are just so many things we built into this that we want. We want our members, our community of veterans, to take control of a lot of things, to take charge of groups, and be active and support each other. And some of the stuff Chris and I have talked about before is part of the membership tier system, the rank system, is because we want officers, we want people taking on roles, we want people taking a more active role in the running of Hondo. We want that to happen. We want to increase the number of people who are taking more active role, because it's impossible for us to do everything, and we don't want to. We actually want members. This is all about empowering veterans, and we've talked about this before. I've talked about it in terms of the analogy of respect, and I used this before. Chris knows this one. A certain amount of respect is given by rights; the rest is earned. And my feeling is that veterans in the US are highly respected, but that respect can be way higher from what we're going to do, because we want to just empower veterans so much that they can take on a far bigger role within the veteran community, but also within wider society. And that's going to elevate everything. So a lot of what we want to build is about empowerment. Yes, a lot of people have got physical and mental disabilities that have come out because of what they've had to give up in terms of active duty
Right.
service. But
Ian, you're a
this is the
veteran, right?
place to heal. This is the place to
And
heal.
Ian, you're a veteran, right? Who are you sitting at a disability, if you don't mind sharing?
Well, we have to get that adjusted because right now the VA has me at 60%. When I first got
Mm,
out, they had me at 90%, and they've been bouncing it
mm,
all around, changing things. So, I mean, I've gotten to the point where several years ago, they found out that a side effect of something that happened to me in boot camp had killed certain organs in my body that had shut down half my digestive system for almost 15 years. And
oof,
it's permanently damaged. I will
yeah.
never have a fully functioning digestive system anymore. And
Mm,
I don't know if
yeah.
they even raised my percentage after that. Um,
Yeah.
That's something we're gonna address, me and you. We're gonna have some
yeah.
private
Yeah.
channels for that,
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here
Yeah.
for you too.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
I have
there's a
a
great,
I have a
go ahead.
small suggestion, by the way. So it was something I was
Absolutely.
thinking
Yeah.
about. So when
Mm,
you go to like business, because I run my own little business. I got into the MLM
mm,
industry. Okay.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you go to networking groups and you go to
Mm,
something where you're trying to network your business, the
mm,
problem is advertisements literally eventually become the whole thing. People stop having conversations, just advertisements, and nobody even pays attention to them anymore. So
yeah.
what I was thinking with the whole advertisement concept is instead of us, you having something that, the members go to where they see the ads all the time, how
Mm,
about instead when you have an onboarding system where they have all these different aspects and it teaches them all about all the different aspects. So like, for example, since, say we're going with Christopher over there, right? So you've got your VA. You work with the VA to get people the best possible results that they can.
Yep.
So that's something that veterans are already going to understand. But
yeah. Yeah.
once you go beyond that, um,
Mm.
Edward over there, and I use first name, so I hope that's not an offensive thing
Yeah.
for you.
No. Call me Ed. No, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ed over there, you've got a lot of the business mentorship, your a
Yeah.
leadership mentorship, which really ties in with what I do, which is mindset, which is all about being a
Yeah.
leader. Um,
Yeah.
so you already know all that. But
Yeah.
most people are going to take one look at that and they're just going to go, oh, I don't need that. Well, instead of
Yeah.
having it that they don't need that, have it that when they're onboarding, they have certain steps that they go through. So the first steps is, their immediate needs, housing, VA care, a job.
Yep.
Steps after that
Yep.
is by being a part in the Hundo Club, you have the second
Mm,
step, which would be, for example, self-development or
yep.
taking care of, it would be two parts, taking care of yourself, but also self-development. So you'd have insurance companies, protection companies, anything that works with keeping people safe, keeping their family safe, but you would also have leadership, coaching, mentorship,
Mm,
all these different things and avenues into educating them on like personal higher form of education in whatever field they want to.
yeah.
Then
Yeah.
rather than running it as advertisements, you
Mm,
know, then basically what it is the member is basically being required to go through these steps. So you're
yeah.
advertised in that step. So like, for example, if I were coming in, say we have 100,000 members, right?
Yeah.
If I come in, I'm in the state of Minnesota at the moment. So I go to the self-development area and it would
Mm,
list whoever is the current coach for that specific
yeah.
area as my area. So you'd click on like
Yes.
say self-development, and then it would have 100,000 coaches, and it would have each area that they're in, an area that they specialize in, and what type of coaching they
Mm,
specialize in. So then, as it would be my job to get with one of them, and they would
mm,
quote unquote certify me as theirs, and then they would coach me
yes.
directly, however often they
Yep.
need it or whatever, and it would be like a course to
Yep.
getting them off of their feet or on their feet
Yep.
because
I got a
I
beautiful wireframing in my mind. I have the
Yep.
UX design, I could see it. Um,
Yep.
it's very viable, it's not impossible. But again, there's a balance issue there. We have to make
mm,
sure every person is vetted. We can't just let everyone go through here. So it's a slow process. We're playing the turtle game versus the rabbit, we play the hare, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can do the hare version,
Yeah.
right? But,
well that's kind of what I'm
but it
getting
is a
to because
beautiful, it is beautiful,
sorry.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Keep
Uh,
going, keep going.
Well, because my thought on that is when you have the advertisement game, okay, The
Yeah.
advertisement game is all rabbit. There's nothing slow about it. It's whoever can
Yeah.
get their advertisement out there first, whoever can grab the person's attention first, gets the sale, everybody else loses. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's also why those networking groups literally become nothing but 100,000 posts of people posting ads all day, videos of their advertisements, links to their web pages, their funnels. That's all those diverge into. And that would be the last thing I want to happen to this, because then
Absolutely.
ultimately
Yeah.
failed, you know.
Yeah. Well, let me give you a little bit of a taste of sort of just picking up on some of those things. One thing we tried is a survey that captures people's needs, and that's been extremely useful for the people that filled it out. Extremely useful for us because it tells us what people need and what we can focus on. Another one to give sort of answer a broader question is, before we came live, I was just saying to Chris, what I would like to do is to set up Ask Coach Anything sessions once a week. So members can come on and ask me anything. Longer term, my goal is to train up, let's call it apprentices, but basically members. I want to brain dump. I want to coach people to become our coaches, so that I can take a more of a backseat. And we've got, this is why we're talking about the officer levels, so people can take on those roles. But just to give you a little flavour, whilst my major specialism is in business and entrepreneurship, I've got other specialisms as well where I can help people. I retired from it a long time ago, but I spent over 20 years in the martial arts. So I've got a lot of that training and all of those aspects. I've run, I've worked in and run charities and non-profits for a long time. I'm the former chief executive of a charity. Um, I've done life coaching, all kinds of stuff. So when I see people like it, wanting to apply for jobs, this is why we put the employability bit in there. If they want job search or job interviews, all that kind of stuff, can cover that with them. If they want to go entrepreneurship and go down that road. So within the free membership level, what we want to do, and this is why we're looking out for people who want to take on a more active role, so there'll be more of us to do these, is that we can give free sessions, free Q&A sessions, free support, and whatever people's problems are, and sharing them and talking, we can help people, and there'll be more of us coming in. So members come and they can ask, they get help. We definitely want that spreading throughout the community. Then when people want more in-depth and specialist help, that's when we bring in the expertise level. So the basic level, whatever their needs are, we're going to make sure it's met either between us or within the community as a whole. So yes, yeah, definitely on board with that. That's exactly what we want.
It's very perfect. It actually rolls in with Ian, your suggestion on that system that you just discussed right now. I could draw up a much more beautiful design where you can be selecting a type of personalities that you're, but that's whole design. That's something else that can be fine-tuned and polished at a later date. But the general concept is there that to build. So for example, let's say we make you into a lieutenant, right? Ian?
Oh no, the butter bar. No.
Everybody got to start at the butter. You know?
I'm just messing. Don't take it.
Yeah, it's all right. We gotta have some fun.
Yeah, exactly. So let's if you're from Butter Bar, right? We get you up there. So that means, hey, we're granting that me and Mr. Finch, again, as a board of directors, still making decisions on some things, right? Until the quality, and we say, okay, he's up with quality, this individual, he or she, we approve it. And then you become part of that board of director on that officer decision level, right? Everybody gets an opinion, but
absolutely.
Again, so, okay, now you have that authority to make your own groups. You have the authority to start getting sergeants under your rank to train the next generation, because this is supposed to be a generational thing. Like Mr. Finch said, this is 200, and this is actually 2,000-year-old problem. This has been going on This has been going around
Yeah.
since, who knows?
Yeah.
The ancient Roman eras, right? You know, they've
I
been
was gonna
fighting.
say, I think the
Yeah.
Vikings might be the only nation in history who treated their veterans like really, really well. But their
Yeah.
entire culture was based around it,
Mm.
which
Mm.
made them a warrior culture, which is very different, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, the Japanese might have done it too, but before they illegalized their samurai. So I don't know.
Yes, and it became Ronin, which was bad decision.
I
Yes.
was
Yeah.
My other thought on this, and I hate to bring it up because it's never
No.
positive.
Yeah.
But
Bring it up.
what my in retrospect of looking at the future, how are
Mm.
we going to approach politics? Because I think we should try and make it so that we keep politics out as much as possible, but that's never a full possibility. So how would we
Yeah.
approach that? And that's why I said I hate to
Yeah.
bring it up because it's never positive in
No,
politics.
I'll
That is,
just pitch in straight off and say I know exactly where you're coming from. I was in politics at one time, so I can honestly say I've seen it from the inside, and I came out of it because I just totally disliked it. Yes, we're going to come across politicians wanting to stick their oar in and try and take charge. We are veteran run and independent of politicians, but we're going to have to listen to them at some stage when they stick their oar in. But the membership, I'm sure Chris will say the same thing. The membership, all our veterans, they're the people who have the say. Veterans decide, our members decide, not the politicians. Our
All
members
right.
decide, our
right, so,
community
you know,
decides.
I would piggyback on that. In the United States system, I'm gonna tell you legally, whether it's through disclaimers, documentation for analytics, everything is much more relaxed.
Yeah,
The European Union or NATO allies is a lot more difficult. They're very strict on it's insane. You get like one email, they'll
yeah,
shut you down for spam.
yeah.
It's really a difficult. They have different codes, different laws. So when it comes to lobbying, for example,
Mm,
no, absolutely not. This, as Mr. Finch said, the government isn't even going to touch this. This is run by
no,
veterans, owned by veterans. This is the way it's going to be.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
the government. No, thank you. Because then they start making red tape everywhere, and guess what? That's breaking our freedom, those amendments in our freedoms and constitutional rights, and it makes a
Yeah,
mess of things. We really don't want that.
yeah.
We
No.
want that lateral freedom of speech in that aspect. So
Mm,
when we start branching into the realm of the European Union, we're going to be forced into the lobby aspect because it is more difficult. It is a much more
yeah.
difficult environment legally and structurally. So that's what I could
But we
say.
but
The
we can
man,
split off a separate Hondo for that. Yeah. Which will
absolutely. That,
protect the US one. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, that's going to be its own separate
Of its
branch,
own.
right?
Yeah,
Well,
Because
yeah,
part of the reason I asked that is because there's a lot of politicians who have veteran as their tag because they are veterans, but they also went into the
yeah,
political realm, so they're both.
yeah,
And so my
yes.
only thought was basically like, do we, if they are both, do we have them sign a
Hmm.
contract saying that they will not bring any politics into the hundo regardless? Or I'm thinking more US because I don't really understand Europe.
Yeah,
I'm not going to
yeah.
say anything.
Yeah,
You know,
it's all right.
um,
No, no, you say what you want. It's
so
complete freedom of speech here.
that
Complete
was
amen.
freedom.
just a
Yeah.
thought
I
process. Like,
think
is that something?
the one core thing I'd say on that, yeah, the one core thing on that is we've got our code of conduct,
Mhm.
and that's written based on military codes. So long as people are adhering to the code of conduct, it's things are okay, and the community can police and decisions could be made if necessary. But yeah, we're looking for the community to sort of stick their hand up and say, look, I'm feeling, somebody's getting a bit uncomfortable here. We're not Things are getting a little bit out of hand, and then if somebody breaks the code of conduct and they're not supporting the veteran community for their own agenda, then something can be done about it. It's as simple as that. You get the gist.
Right, yes, so, these type of things, exactly, you hit the nail on the head. We have the code of conduct, it's right up in your profile group. You can literally, you
Yeah.
scroll down in your profile, it says code of conduct. I think it's a
Yeah.
couple locations, within the Hundo Net, beta. That, it explains that, it's based on leadership, it's strictly empowering the next veteran. And that's the goal, that's the ambition. You as the veteran, your health, your welfare, your, aim to get focused, your financial, your family, your spiritual, mental, physical, emotional, and social aspects are completely fulfilled. And then you can give back to the veteran community, heal the individual, give back. So that's all falls in that realm. So if it's speaking like, let's say the veteran foreign affairs, right? Right, you got other, branches that, provide services within the community, right? They lobby for certain things, and again, we're
Yeah.
not doing that. We're not going to DC and knocking on the door and say, hey, I'll scratch your back, Mr. Senator, and you can
Yeah.
get some influence
Yeah.
on which direction we go. No, again, this is voted on
No,
you.
no.
Like, none of
Yeah.
them say we.
Mm.
When I went as a Legionnaire, right, I never said I was a we, I was like me.
Yeah.
You, on the other hand, Mr. Ian, what'd you say? We're a we, so.
Yeah.
Political is, of course, freedom of speech, absolutely, speak your
Yeah.
mind,
Yep. Yep.
but the main
Yeah.
agenda is to assist yourself and veterans. And like,
Yep.
there's that example, right now we have a program that's launched to assist a veteran, Mr. Ryan, who's having financial troubles based on, um, just, just standard of life. He's a veteran, we
Mm.
vetted him at Hundo, we made sure everything's clear, he's got his VA card, he's got his documents with his bills.
Yeah.
There was a request that nobody else is helping him. Hey, we're gonna push it as much as we can to say
Yeah.
this individual help is a veteran within the veteran community. So, when it comes to political, we're not that. We are actually the fine line of, I think, the golden route. How do you call it? The yellow brick road, I think it was in Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Follow the
Yeah.
yellow road.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. That's the one. Yeah. There will be hiccups along the road. There will be of all different kinds, but we've anticipated that as far as we can. And yeah, yeah, the straight answer is we're mindful of it. It's just human nature. It's just human nature. But as long as everybody's talking freely and abiding by the rules, then everybody's happy. If somebody starts to go off the rails politically or otherwise, then it's for the community just to say, look, this is going a bit too far, and yeah, they, they can be brought back in line, same as it would be an active duty. People are brought back in line. No, it's the same principles.
Exactly. And that command structure is so important, to be like,
Hmm.
hey, everyone's saying this, your constituent is getting a little bit out of line there. And it's gonna keep it a clean environment. You're not gonna get the Facebook barrage of
Hmm.
nasty. Hold on, there was,
Yeah.
something that you looked into, is called Helping Hand, right?
Oh
Hmm.
Uh,
yeah.
tell me a little bit about this situation that's going on Facebook that doesn't have that self-correction system.
So I went into the helping hands, right? And I was going in there to post for Ryan. And
Yeah.
they basically said, what was it? I got blocked out of one of their, like, they've got multiple groups set up. I got blocked out of one of their groups and put into like a punishment zone because the advertisement was asking for a donation. The rule specifically says don't add a GoFundMe. And I said, well, this isn't about me at all. I'm like, I'm posting this for
Yeah.
another veteran. I'm like, and the whole
Yeah.
point of helping hands is to help people who are struggling. So yeah, and they blocked me for that. But as you go
Oh,
around and you look at all these groups, like there's tons of veterans helping veterans groups. There's tons of all these help pages. But when you
mhm,
really look at it, like the rules that you're allowed to
mm,
post, they're run like a business. They're not run like helping pages. They don't
yeah.
you post you'll get banned for posting certain things. You'll get banned for
Mm,
asking for help in some of them. And it's like this is literally a group that says so and so helping so and so, and you get
Yeah.
banned for asking for help. Where's the
Yeah.
logic?
Right, there's on top of that, there's one other thing. You said there was somebody asking for sexual desires that was
Oh, that
authorized.
was
Right, so
ridiculous.
how, that's the
Oh,
difference. Our
dear.
structure, right, so
Uh,
within Helping Hand, right, so they have asking for
yeah.
sexual pleasures with, right, which had nothing
With
to do with it. Am I
pants.
correct?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the
So
structure, you're asking, how's our structure self-regulated? It's regulated by the
Yeah.
officer. It's regulated by
Yeah.
the sergeants, self-regulated. You're not gonna get that spiral out of control behavior that you're gonna
No,
have,
no.
such as Facebook. It doesn't exist
Mm,
because it's
yeah.
empowering the community. So they're gonna self-discipline themselves. We don't,
Mm,
we don't have to go around micromanaging. Everybody's gonna be
no.
able to empower the next veteran and bring them up, just like the
Yeah. Yeah.
military.
Yeah. I'll just give you a bit. I posted it um, in various Facebook groups, public Facebook groups. I posted the graphic that Chris did. And at the top of it, I basically said, putting this out here because, to help this veteran. And if you've any questions, you want any evidence, we have all the evidence to support that this is basically saying this is a genuine. We have all the evidence if anybody wants to ask. So I left it open. If anybody blocked or banned me, they've actually done me a favor because they've told me that that's not a group that is open enough to support people in need. So they've done a favor, and that's the way I look at it. And if a group is going to ban a good cause, then they're not a worthy group to receive value. Simple as that. There are thousands of groups out there. So yeah, these things
I
can
like
happen.
that. That's the cold call approach.
Yes. Yeah,
If you know what I'm referring to.
I do exactly what you're referring to. Yes. Yeah. It's frustrating when I've got blocks from groups from time to time, and I just think, okay, fine, but I'm still gonna push the boundaries a little bit because we're on for a good cause here. We're doing this for the right reasons. We're not doing this as a money-making machine. We're doing this for motivation to help veterans, and we've got a veteran here in desperate need. Yes, we are going to generate income through Hondo, and the purpose of that is to put money back into the community. So we collectively and the veterans decide how it gets spent. So when somebody comes up with in dire straits, community can decide, well, we help them out. We've got some funds here. We don't just have to go out to it. We've
Oh,
generated
yes.
it ourselves. We look
Push the
after
other
our own.
buttons.
Yeah.
Everyone votes yes,
These,
okay, we create the
yeah.
program, there you
Yeah.
go. It's,
Yeah.
it's just like that. It's literally just like that.
There are so many tiers and levels in what we've been building. Sometimes we forget
Amen.
how many things we've covered.
All right,
Yeah,
so we are really crushing it. So we're gonna
yeah.
go back a little bit. So Hundo
Mm.
Gear Shop. Before
Yeah.
we get to, you want to finish up on membership levels, officer and senior, or should we truck along a little bit?
I think it's truck along a bit. So otherwise we'll be talking for all night on these.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can always we'll come back to these things as we need to. Yeah.
okay, so we're consistently working on the Hundo Gear Shop, which all the
Yeah.
proceeds, which is special, all the profit margin. Of course, there's material, there's cost of delivery,
Yeah.
manufacturing, shipping, and all that fancy
Yeah.
stuff, right? So minus all the operational cost, all the
Yeah.
profit margin, which is usually about 40%, if you want to use a magic number,
Yeah.
goes right back into the community for whatever they want to spend. So that is, it's a continuous project. There's a lot of designs already made. I think there's 800 designs on different clothing, baby wear, this wear, that wear, cups and mugs and coffee, right? So it's still in development.
Yeah.
It was launched, but there was something that we felt wasn't quite right. So we kind of reset it. We reset it.
Pulled it and to reset. Yeah.
Right. Right, we felt it wasn't fully smooth, beneficial, kind of refactor, reset it, but it's still, the product line is great. So, that's still on the agenda. So once that
Hmm.
launches, hopefully the community says, hey, you know what? We feel like we're part of this. So And guess what? It's going right back to whoever you're gonna take care of your battle buddy next. So like you got this situation, hey, Mr. Ryan, hey, that pot's there. Hey, we got this extra pot that's paid for by the community. Ryan's problem, no problem. We got you, buddy.
Fix it.
If problem solved.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So and that's what again. So that's all I got to say about the clothing right now.
There's one more thing to add about the clothing, accessories, and all of that. You've done some fantastic work on the branding, and it's all veteran Hondo branding. We built in, and we're going to touch on this one a little bit more, is the paid membership tiers. We've built into the membership tiers an option for people to come up with their own designs for things as well. And this is something that we thought was a good idea. People want to pitch some design ideas in, they'll get printed and up for sale exactly the same way in exactly the same place. They'll come alongside the veteran Hondo. We can have other people's designs, have our members' designs coming in. So I think it'll be quite exciting. Hopefully, hopefully.
Well, I mean, we didn't just pull the whole program, not just for that. So basically, yeah, it's pretty worth it.
Yes, yes, yeah. I think it's going to be exciting because there's lots of people love design. Lots of people love design, but you can we want people to our members to pitch in and say, yeah, there's a product line we'd like to see, or like to see our designs put in, and all these options. It's just it's pitch more in, and then more people buy. People buy, then the money comes in, and we can help people out.
You got any suggestions, improvements, ideas, concepts, AAR on that after action report?
Yeah. What do you think, Ian?
I think I don't know. I haven't seen it all, but I think you guys have probably got on. Like I haven't checked out the actual shop yet, so I haven't actually seen any of it. But I mean, that sounds good. I'm more of a salesman, not really much of the designer type. So my thought was with that though, any of the profits, so I know that most of the profits are going towards costs. Something that I got as a piece of advice, and you probably already know this, Ed, try and save 20% of it, 10% for any tax or government issue problems, which always come along, unfortunately. And 10% of it should be saved for that emergency fund so that the Hundo Club then has a source of income where it's supplying itself and not relying 100% on donations to help whenever there's an issue.
Yeah, we've got different revenue streams that we can draw in. So the idea with the shop is that we can put all of the profits in-house, so that goes in, so it can be spent on members that decide where it gets spent. But there are other revenue streams that we can bring in. Membership's one of them, which cover us for taxes, running costs, running server, and all apps that we need to run the things we're running, all of this kind of stuff. So yeah, we've got other revenue streams. So we thought if we can keep this nice and clean, and we can basically say, after all costs, all the profits go directly in house and get spent on veterans, on our members, and the members decide. So we thought that's a nice clean way of keeping it. So we haven't got to sort of. I know a lot of non-profits say, all proceeds go to, but then when you read the fine print, it's like, oh yes, after X percentage is taken off of tax and this and that, and I know how the whole sector works. The amount that actually gets spent where it needs to be spent is probably small. So we thought, no, we want to do something different. Yeah, even that. So we thought, no, we'll keep it clean. You're absolutely right. There are always, you've got to always have your contingencies, but we've got other revenue streams that we can do that with, and there are other options. In the future, we will attract more external donations, no strings attached, and there's obviously technical legal complications around that, but hopefully that shouldn't be a problem in the US. But yeah, we'll cover those. For now, we thought, try and keep that one nice, clean, and simple up front. Yeah, after all costs, all profits go in-house, and all profits will get spent and will get decided on by the members. And so, Veterans helping veterans and buy
Again,
more
I don't,
gear.
these are two things I've never heard. Okay.
Yeah.
We have the board of directors, which is the entire community. We have a clothing company that pays for itself and then goes, pays other veteran programs or emergency situations or other coaching situation or whatever improves the community.
Yeah.
This is like a riding a unicorn, okay? And it's really working.
Well,
This is,
you know,
this is
it's
riding the unicorn. I'm telling you, and it's really working. It's magical. This is
Uh,
Lucky Charms in a box.
I was gonna say, to add on to your whole unicorn thing, was that conversation that you and me had last night about possibly creating a hundo community where it's an actual physically live-in community for veterans. And
Amen.
I was sitting like, that's obviously long-term goal, but like,
Yeah.
if we could actually make live-in communities with, you know, housing, jobs, a whole 9 yards just for
Yeah.
veterans, that would be, it'd be interesting. It would be epic. It'd be interesting to see how the government reacts to it, but I mean, it'd be epic.
We'll be
we've
the
talked about
umbrella
this.
corporation, but without making viral
Yeah.
diseases, okay? So minus
Oh
the
yeah,
viral diseases.
Yeah.
We're good.
Well, Ian, Chris and I talked about this before. We had somebody else approach us. Got ideas for veteran communities, or housing projects, and they were like, "Oh, this is really exciting." I said, "Oh, you know, how have you got the funding for it?" He says, "No, this is idea, and we want somebody else to do it." Chris and I said, "Yeah, we'll grab that idea. It's for the future. At some stage we'll start with property refurbs, and we'll longer term vision go into whole communities and building communities. And this is something we'd love to do. I personally, it's a passion project for me. I've done a number of these types of things. I'm really interested in it. My professional background, as well as coaching, is I'm actually a landscape architect. I've got a master's in landscape architecture. Yes. So
nice.
I did my master's on a city. I basically looked at symbiosis between people and nature on a citywide scale. So I've done urban planning, I've done all this social housing, all that kinds of stuff. Yeah, yeah. It's right
Well, I
up
was
my
gonna say,
street that as well.
did
If
Christopher
Mr. Finch is
mention?
the grand architect, he can design in his mind the entire design of the UX design of whatever we got going on, and he's like a walking computer. It's amazing.
I was gonna say, did Christopher mention to you what my actual long-term goal was that I had told him about? I think yesterday was to
Yeah.
build a large school for educating
Mm,
people, but not just with the standard education, but with like financial education, um, more
yeah,
of like a mentality education, so that they can develop their
yeah.
own moral system and so on and so forth. Um,
Mm,
and again, like I said, that was actually originally planned for not necessarily a veteran community, but just in general.
yeah,
But obviously it fit right in. So
yeah. One of the core things when Chris and I were talking, well before beta launch, we were talking about priorities for active duty. And what we end up with, number one priority for active duty, is financial awareness. Financial awareness we think is a number one priority, because that everything else stems from that, because they've had everything provided, everything's given. You don't need to have that financial security that you need in civilian life. So we think that that's very, very important. But yes, there's a whole raft of stuff around education and uh, how society evolves. I'm really quite interested in that. I've been reading both of Robert Pirsig's books on morals and values and stuff like that. Quite fascinated by by all of that. And I think this just helping people prepare um, for civilian life and how that evolves is really, really interesting. From me from my perspective as a coach, it's not about telling people how they should think, but telling them how they can think for themselves, make their own choices. That's absolutely paramount. Make your own choices, but from an open, informed mind, because education system is so blinkered, and it sets us down one path and doesn't open your mind to different possibilities. And a lot of coaching now is getting people to open their minds to different possibilities and different avenues, and
Right,
taking it where
so
they need to.
And
Yeah.
that's
I
what I
want
was trying to do with the school, is create a school that raises kids from a young age to actually have that open mindset instead of that set pathway that
Yeah.
all the politics is pushed on everybody anymore.
what
Yeah,
did I call
yeah.
it? Like, as I was speaking to you, I called it the Xavier program, right?
Yeah, you called me Xavier.
It sounds like X-Men, you know,
For the
I love,
gifted.
I think, but it's very possible. It's within
Yeah.
actually, Mr. Anthony King, he's the one who passed the torch on to us. And I was like, hey, Mr.
Yeah.
Finch, what do you think about this concept? And I mean, we have another layer. There's so many layers within this. So we want to have, the, what are they, when the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, right? But we want that for the HUNDO Club kids to go out and try to.
Yeah.
So there's so many layers we have, but we haven't even
Absolutely.
scratched the surface.
Yeah.
We're not exact. This is 2.5 months in, a little bit over that, and we got the code of conducts. We have the value system. We created there's a lot going on behind the scenes, more than
What have we talked about? This is in so many respects, everything we built is so unique. It's just it is taking the rule book and chucked it out, and we've written a whole new book.
So you know what? This is, if it doesn't exist, then you're going to be classified as a billionaire, right? So that's how the system works. If you're creating something that doesn't exist, it's am I correct on that? So we go back a little bit. Yes, we're jumping into a little bit into things, but to backtrack a little bit into the schooling system, four major aspects that I think is a requirement is teaching actional leadership, transformational leadership, visionary leadership, and collaborative leadership. If you understand those aspects for coming out as a 24-year-old veteran from the United States Armed Forces, and you can visionary and have that mental strength, right, that you teach in the structure that Mr. Finch teaches and 1,000 other teachers ready to pick up the other veteran, that veteran is going to be the next Bill Gates. And that's like, can't ask for a better system. We took out the rule book. We took out the rule book because it's also a unique situation that we really do stand by each other. As veterans, I don't know any person who's going to drop their entire day's work of what their agenda is when somebody says, a random person they don't know, and say, I need help. They're going to say, go to the church or go to your government. You know, but we get a veteran, they drop everything. How do I know? Because I just did that yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
and I think there's some important parts to this as well. We want to be really clear with people. Our policy is no one gets left behind, and this is really important. We're not just creating the rich leaders and the ultimate leaders. No, whatever people's skill sets are, and bearing in mind how some people come out and they think, well, my life's over because of my disability is so bad. No, everybody comes out with value. Everybody's got huge skill sets from their active duty time and the training they've been through. They've got huge skill sets. So regardless of their capabilities, when they come out and they become a veteran, they've still got a future ahead of them, a fantastic future as part of this community. And this is fundamental to what we're doing. Everybody is going to have a brilliant future as a member, and everybody's going to be valued and supported and be part of this one big community and brought on and elevated to as high as they can go, as high as they can possibly go, regardless of their skill sets. And some people will soar, and they'll become very rich. Some people will become rich in other ways, rich life and rich.
Well,
we don't want to ever see veterans being homeless again. We don't want to see that in the future.
I'm kind of a living example of that because I got out. I wasn't disabled right away. I worked in the culinary field for 15 years and then was told that I'll never stand for more than 4 hours in a day again. And so when you had built your entire life being a chef, building up to be
Yeah.
open up these restaurants and stuff and told you're not going to be able to
Yeah.
stand for 4 hours again.
That's
I sank into
devastating.
that huge pit of depression. I was depressed for
Yeah.
years. I went through all the
Yeah.
negativity. Here I am
Yeah.
building my own business and actually
Mm.
moving towards a future that's so
Yeah.
much bigger than I ever would have imagined. And it's actually all
Yeah.
because that disability actually happened to me that I have a bigger
Exactly.
future now. But
Yes.
using that as an example, you get out disabled, you
Mm.
actually have the ability to look at a much broader perspective. Like it literally
Yeah.
you either give up on yourself or it forces you to open your doors to more avenues. And we'll be
Yeah.
able to help them basically we'll stick the crowbar in the door for them and say,
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
all these opportunities.
Yeah.
Thank you
And
for
they shouldn't be
sharing. Thank you for
depressed.
sharing
They
and being
shouldn't.
vulnerable there.
Yeah.
That's not easy, and especially
Ah,
something like
absolutely.
God
And,
bless
a, and a, an important part of that is we don't want veterans to come out and have to go through that period of depression either, because we've got other veterans equally opening to share and talk about what they've been through. So when something really hits them in life, this whole community can be there and support them, be there
you.
behind
Right,
them, and share
and you
their
can feel
stories.
comfortable. You can feel
Yeah,
comfortable sharing some traumatic things, having your best friend blown up by an ID
yeah,
or a rocket
yeah.
propelled grenade. These are not things you
All
can
the, all the,
go to your next door neighbor and say, "Hey, I got to talk about this. I'm having
yeah,
post-traumatic
yeah,
stress disorder
Well,
symptoms." Right? So
one
this
of
is
the
another aspect of why we have the verification, why we have
yeah,
the rank system. There's so many layers that have to be there. We
yeah.
can't have a rampant Reddit and a Facebook random person sign in with the AAAAQ at
No, no,
gmail.com and start saying, "Hey, you know what I mean? We can't
no,
have that."
no, no, no,
Well,
exactly.
the irony is, it actually was my former staff sergeant who rescued me from that depression by putting me into the network marketing industry where I started my whole self-development track. So
Yeah,
it took another
yeah.
veteran to get me out of there. So that, it just kind of
Well,
helped
there you are.
strengthen the whole concept.
That's what we want. That's what we want. Yeah, absolutely. And Chris touched on something there as well. Um, we're operating Chatham House rules, which is basically whatever's said within this community stays in this community, and That's also why we only want verified veterans and um, people like myself coming in but have been verified, so that everything stays in house. Talk completely freely, whatever's, and this is why we've tried to segregate things. So yes, at some stage in the future, we're going to have a Hondo for close family members, but it's going to be kept separate so that the active duty or veterans can talk freely in this community, and there's no crossover. So yeah,
Right,
we
right.
yeah,
You don't have that freedom of aspects, right? You don't feel
yeah,
comfortable. You don't need that, especially if you're sharing such vulnerable events and saying, "Hey,
yeah.
So there's so much that we have thought about, and I love the Xavier School. I can't help that. I love the program. I'm sorry, I got to
Well,
jump.
I have a little too much hair for the whole Xavier right now.
Oh,
Give it a couple years. We'll catch up.
I could
you
work
still
on it in a
got your
couple years,
superpowers. You
All
still got your
right.
superpowers. Don't worry about that.
We're crushing it. We're crushing it. We're
Yeah.
already over at the hour mark. We got to hit the classified ads. I think that's a big one. Do we want to save that for
Yes.
next week, or do we want that right now?
Well, let's just touch on classified ads, and we can pick it up again in next week in more detail. Basically, what we're chewing over is the idea of, even as the beta, giving a certain amount of classified ads possibly included. We were chewing over how we do that, and because people normally pay for classified ads, do we do a paid option? How do we go about that? Making it affordable, because we still want everybody to be able to have the opportunity to advertise their services to other veterans. We want to do it in a fair way. And that's something we're still chewing over at the moment. How best can do that, and as much feedback as we can get on our thoughts and input from everybody is really valuable.
Right, so there's a level of membership.
Yeah.
For example, one kicked around idea is that if I pay for a membership, my membership for, say it's $50 a month, for the VIP coaching and the VIP days where you spend in a couple, you get those extra flares and benefits and seminars, and also the extra people coming in that are professionals to
Yeah.
assist them. You pay the monthly fee, right?
Yeah.
I call it the
You
Xbox
get it.
month.
You
I
get
call it
extra
Xbox.
perks. Yeah.
Right. So, okay,
Yeah.
do we include the membership, or with that membership, you get a unlimited ad space within the Hundo, and depending, or so on the beta, right?
Yeah.
It would look like the groups page if you wanted to get a nice idea. It would be very
Yeah.
beautiful. It wouldn't be a Craigslist type thing. It's very,
No.
very,
No.
it would look like the group system. That's how
It's
the
veteran
design.
supporting veterans. Yeah.
Right,
Basically.
so hey, you got a landscaper in this town, so Ian, you brought up a good program real quick, just to backtrack. Each group, the reason I'm bringing this up is because it feeds back into the classified ads, is saying,
Mm.
hey, in each group of Marine veterans, where I want to socialize with Marine veterans, because I grunt better, and I don't say hoorah, I say hoorah, I don't know the difference.
Yeah.
But there's an example, I feel more camaraderie with the
Yeah.
Army dudes a little bit, okay? I speak Army
Yeah.
and I don't speak Marine. There's an example.
Yeah.
Right. So, like what we were talking yesterday, with boot camp versus basic training. Like, oh, I was like, what's a
Yeah.
boot camp?
Or how
There's
we have
different
drill
terms. Yeah.
instructors and you have drill sergeants, and we're always like, well, they're
Yeah.
just sergeants.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's say that's why we had the
Yeah.
separation a little bit, so we can get a little bit
Yeah.
more confined with the people that understand our target. So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyhow, so we have 50 states and 50, all the territories and Ocanas in each of those subgroups. And in those subgroups, you can have the classified ads to say, hey, I live in this area. Do you do
Mm.
landscaping in this area? I need some landscaping for my house. Oh, cool, you're a veteran. Hey, you got great prices. I think you're a fantastic person. Hey, I'll rather hire you than go and take care of
Yeah.
somebody else. And that way it keeps the money in house, which comes back to the house, which goes back into the community. So again, then that Xavier School can become a reality, that the veteran community, hospitals, teachers, programs, and everything could be more of a reality. And on top of that, all the trainings. So the reason I'm bringing all those up is because that could be a possibility. Or, for example, another one. I have one left, and then you guys can take over.
So I'm getting attacked here, my Victor.
Okay.
So another one, for example, and this is not decided yet. Okay, do we give all the beta operators that are really gung ho, who are the ones that are handing us, get unlimited ad space for life? Also, do you get 30% commission for life as an affiliate? That means 45,000 days is 129 years, 0.23 days. So no person lives over 120 years. It's kind of like the magic number. We got to go. Um, so do we give these awesome perks to the hardcore people that are assisting us at this time and really seeing the vision and giving that? And that's just one perk that we're really trying to hand out. And this is, again, we haven't decided 100%. We need to cast a poll on it and do a nice survey on it.
Explore options and yeah,
Right, we're exploring
see
options.
if
So
yeah.
whatever the community votes on, hey, I got a
Yeah.
thumb up on it.
What's your thoughts, Ian?
I was thinking about the specifically on the ads. What if, like, so if we're actually gonna, if we're gonna do what I was talking about, where we have the different stages for people to be in so that they actually look things up instead of having advertisements all over the place. What if Hundo actually ran those ads publicly to the rest of the world, but specifically for those people? So we would actually be giving them free advertisement, like say Facebook, or something of that nature, which would be a benefit to them. But at the same time, because then they'd actually still get the advertisement space. It would just be Yeah, because they'd still be on the Hundo Club. Like, so, you go to Denver, Colorado, and you're looking up for Hundo in Denver, Colorado, and then it pops up all the
Mm,
people doing landscaping in Denver, Colorado. Maybe the people
mm,
who are paid special, it pushes them to the top of the list, puts like little stars, highlights their names or something like that. And then the,
mm.
the normal members would be below that. But then outside of that, all the people with the stars and stuff, they would actually have their advertisements that they would submit to Hundo advertised in Denver, Colorado as
Yeah.
landscaping.
Well,
Just
that's
a
a fair approach.
thought.
It's a very fair approach, a democratic Google system
Yeah.
type, where you give a little bit of candy, you get a little pushed up a little bit to
Yeah.
have that aspect. Yes, there has to be also that aspect, but it's very fair. For example, we could apply the Google click. The more clicks you get, the higher you go on the chart, right? We could play
Mm.
that very simple way, and that way we could say, hey, that's democratic again, but without that control, without saying, you know what, I like
The,
this guy. I think his
the
beer is
thing that
awesome.
the
I'm
thing
gonna
that
put him
crops
number one.
into my mind at the moment, and this is just me sort of because I think off in different directions all at the same time. Excuse me doing this. So the landscape analogy is quite straightforward and clear cut because landscapers operate in a region, and it's not too big an area, so that's fairly straightforward. But what if you've got somebody offering online services, say a website developer, for example, who can operate anywhere in the world? It then becomes so somebody who's a designer or a web developer or something of that nature. It's an online service. This is something that can go to the whole community. It can go externally. Uh, Location is not particularly relevant at that point. The fact their veteran status is very very relevant, but their location and the location of customers becomes largely irrelevant. So
I think the best
and it's
approach
how it
is
becomes manageable for us. Yeah.
right. For me, I feel that it'd be unfair for the new guy starting out that
Mm,
somebody's got a higher paid ticket can
mm,
can get to the Willy Wonka factory. I
yeah.
don't like
Yeah.
so that's why I
Yeah.
like if you got a quality product and people like you and they're
Mm,
clicking your site or say that
yeah.
online developer and he's just getting better traction, he's going to come
Mm,
up the chain towards the higher list
yeah.
of that list. Um, that's what the
So
best that's the democratic way I can think of it without
yeah.
because
I
that's
Yeah.
was
driven
gonna
by the
So
say,
community, not driven by us.
I think with the way I would put it, like even if it doesn't matter necessarily what your industry is, because if you're still
mm,
getting advertisement out to your city, so if you're an
mhm,
online designer in Denver, Denver's a
yeah.
massive, massive city, first off.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I know I grew up in the mountains above Denver, so um,
Yeah.
but using Denver as the example, even if you're an online web developer, there's
Mm,
probably over 1 million businesses in Denver alone. So
mm,
even just getting that advertisement there is a big
yeah.
deal. My thing is
Yeah.
if you're a landscaper, okay,
Mm,
and so
mm,
your services are more area located,
yeah.
you still only, in my opinion, the online guy and the landscaper, even if they're both beta members, they both have the paid, they both have the exact same level, right? They
Mm,
don't rate more than another person just because one guy's business has a larger outreach. If he wants
yeah.
that outreach, I think he should actually push that on his own
Mm,
rather than expecting Hundo to do it. Hundo will do a certain amount, but that same
yeah.
certain amount that it'll do for everybody else. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It
Yes.
gets
Yeah.
very
Yeah. Yeah.
complicated very quick. And that's
Yes. This is why we're thinking about it. Yeah. So gotta get it right as best we can. Yeah.
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 right. So
Yeah.
it gets extremely complicated, extremely quick. But
Yeah.
at the same
Yeah. Yeah.
time, I think it's a fantastic thing to just break it down and
Mm,
say, hey, how do we what gift can we give to the
mm,
beta guy? That
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that should be something we decide on next week. Think about it this week,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
because it still hasn't been created yet, it's in
Mm,
the pile
mm,
of the other 1,000 different programmings that the
mm.
programmers have to do.
Yes. And the other
So
thing is that our membership numbers at the moment comparatively speaking, are quite low. Once we grow, these sort of these considerations grow with the membership numbers growing as well. So we're trying to sort of foresee and try and make some best decisions we can with growth in mind, because we'll grow very fast, particularly once members get really engaged and then they start inviting other members in. We're going to grow at an exponential rate. So if we can get,
Well, I did have a
yeah,
small question on that too.
yeah, far
Do
away.
you want me like, so in terms of networking, obviously I'm a businessman. I know a little bit about networking.
Yeah.
So do you want me to hold off on that until we're like near end beta phase or actually out of beta phase? Because otherwise you can get a whole bunch of members flooding in, but I'm not sure if we're quite ready for that. You know what I'm saying?
If
My
if
opinion,
people want to come in, I would say if people want to come in knowing that this is beta, knowing that we're looking for input to help refine before we go into launch, then yeah, that's fine. Come in. But it come in knowing that it's raw. Still, we're still testing and refining and getting things ready for full launch.
yeah, we haven't
What do you say,
sizzled
Chris?
the steak yet. We haven't got the A1 sauce going. We haven't got the pep. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
This is raw. I think there was somebody who logged on to my own profile today. That was pretty bad. Okay, so
I logged in on my profile and it said, "Hey, Christopher Raymond, here's your hub for them." Like,
that should not be
that's not
happening,
me.
right? Right. Okay. So remind you, this is still an open young beta. I mean, we did some alpha, we did some extensive alpha testing, and everything was. But once you open that door, and we start opening other doors and other servers and other geographical areas of the planet, things start to get haywire. You're dealing with CDN code. You're dealing with international servers and things like there's so many different security blocks, and the list goes on and on and on. But yes,
so basically the numbers are small at the moment, and it's fine having relatively small numbers for a beta. The crucial thing I think is engaged people. Yeah.
Right. Can I pick up on that, Mr.
Yeah.
So that,
Far away.
you know what? The numbers of quantity over quality, right? Right now,
Yes.
the number one thing, quality. And people who say,
Absolutely.
"Hey, I got this suggestion, I got this improvement, I'm going to sit on your meetings. I'm going to come in and actually, you know what? You're being a part of this.
Yeah.
These dogs don't bite the hand, they feed them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Exactly. That's been playing on. We've talked about this a lot recently. It's been playing on my mind. But how do we get? We've got some good numbers for the time we've launched, but to me, people are sitting watching at the moment. We were talking about this the last couple of days. How do we get people more engaged, more involved? We've not got something quite right yet. That people are not engaged enough yet. So yeah, we definitely need the quality, and we need to keep tweaking and refining it. So to answer Ian's question, if there are veterans out there who will come in knowing this is rough and ready and be very involved and want to come in and get very involved and very hands on, absolutely. If there are people who want to come in and sort of take a back seat a little bit more, then probably hold fire a little bit. So it's just a bit of, let us iron out the worst of the problems. But if they want to come in and get really involved, yeah.
So, in my opinion, I wouldn't shoot out until we're ready for that. Hey, we got it fine tuned. We have our program where every day I got a VA claim for an hour or two, a class going on, something like that. Once that system is running and the war machine's running, right? There ain't gonna be turning it off. There's no turning off this war machine once we start. And that's the thing. We're not ready to start yet. We're still finding that perfect, delicate infrastructure. But right with the community. Only difference is we don't keep it closed anymore. We opened it to the public to say, what do you want? And that what do you want? What can we do for you?
So we don't want to be the dancer yet.
No,
No, no,
no, we're
I
not ready to dance yet. We haven't got our dance partners ready yet.
Well, I don't know if he showed you that video, Ed, that I had linked.
all
It's
right. You better put
but
Footloose right now. That Footloose song right here.
because I
Put it in
I'd
the
linked him.
background. I want it in the background of this video.
I had linked him a little video of teaching leadership through
Yeah,
a dancer. It's like a 8-minute video, I think, where one
yeah,
guy's out there by himself. Then when another person shows up, he gives that guy the floor for a minute, and then they both start dancing. And then next thing you know, more and more and more and more come. So we're not ready for the dancer
yeah,
yet, is what you're saying.
no.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm
Let's
asking
face
is
it.
when are we ready for the dancer?
Right, because our
Yeah,
full programs aren't full steam yet. Mr. Finch's
yeah,
full steam program, just like this, would be a daily or a couple days a week. He would
yeah,
launch his program. I would do a
yeah,
daily seminar, and because we're talking an 18.5 million people that could be logging on at the same time, right? And that's a
yeah,
large constituent. Plus, we have the active duty coming to the veteran community every day,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
this is we have to scale for that level. We have to be prepared for that level for the
yeah.
ability to scale correctly. Um,
Mm.
because we see
And get a
the
bigger server.
right, right. So like, for example,
Yes.
next month it's hand down. We're going to a bigger server without a doubt. It's the cloud server is great, but it's meant for
Mm.
static, not dynamic.
Yeah,
Static is here's the data and it's super fast. You're talking milliseconds. The
mm.
static programs and those sites load up, but it's such a dynamic system. The review systems, the verifications, the icons, the promotion.
Everything will run smooth and fast. Yeah,
Right. So
You probably have
we
to build your own network in the future just to
yeah,
make it all work.
yeah
yeah,
to probably keep operational costs down, we probably have to do a solar panel system in the desert, and that way we have our own servers in the desert, stuck with a gazillion solar panels that so Facebook has the same thing. They have their giant warehouses of
yeah,
their CPU systems. There, right? So the only difference is
yeah.
we're going to stay in the desert because it's free electric.
Exactly. Oh, we'll have fun. We'll have fun. Yeah, these are basically business decisions going on in the background. So we know that we're going to get inundated. We're trying to juggle lots of things. We're trying to juggle making sure we're giving value. We're trying to make sure everybody's happy, but it can be a bit of a struggle when your feedback is minimal from in terms of numbers. So we're trying to sort of guess what people are not, why people are not more engaged, and try and plug those gaps. And we know the obvious things like the mobile. We haven't got a mobile app yet, and that's a big one. And we haven't got
That's an
enough
easy.
going on at the moment, and that's another big one. We know what the issues are even without people telling us yet. We know what those issues are, and it's just it's a it's a normal business growth thing that we're going to have to go through these, and this is just part of the beta launch. We knew this would happen. We knew this would happen, and this is why we launched early. Launch rough and
Oh,
ready.
yeah. So
Yeah,
those are major aspects that I know for also me that I agree. Hey, there's not enough traction going on for programs that I need. Okay, I'm coming out. I need VA claim assistance. Why is it not there? Okay, I need some coaching. Why is it not there? So
yeah,
I understand why I'm not engaging on top of,
mm,
so I don't like the speed of it. I don't like that I have to go onto my computer to actually get the full function of it. Um,
yeah, yeah,
these are basic, very systematic things. So we're
mm,
addressing those issues, those major structural company issues, and as Mr. Finch
yeah,
said, those are not cheap. Those are
yeah.
not cheap.
But we'll
Uh,
we'll get there. We'll get
I
there.
think I
And
think
and even
Facebook
these
started with
webinars, we need to improve the access to these webinars. That's something we're working on as well. And just just stage by stage, exploring it, getting it, refining it, getting it right, and yeah, and funding it at the same time.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
headaches.
That's perfect. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much, Mr. Finch. I think we hit a lot of stuff today. We really, we really,
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm
And
sorry, I got us all distracted. It's the
no,
Xavier
no,
thing.
no. Ian, really, we really appreciate all your feedback because this is what we've been so looking forward to. It's just engaging with people because Chris and I have just been talking for a few months now and getting all excited and getting all this stuff. We're just like, yeah, as soon as we got our veterans joining us and we can engage and have valuable conversations. That's what we're so longing for. Yeah, and sharing all these things we've been working on. This is just the tip of the iceberg. What we've been developing. It's huge. Um, the synopsis book that we're giving out to new members. That's just one book. There's a whole load. Every group has got a free book, and then into the paid membership, there is a small library. I'm going to build a bigger library of more.
right.
That's just one tiny element, one
What
tiny element
company
of
on the
so many
planet
things.
does all this? There's no company on the planet.
Yeah,
I
There
would
isn't.
say the closest company I know of is they have an entirely different goal, so it's very different. But the closest company I can mention that's similar would probably be it's known as Grant Cardone University. It's
yeah,
all about teaching people exactly how to sell, but he also opens door for them to
yeah,
invest in all kinds of investment opportunities. So they're making money,
yeah.
learning how to sell, building their business,
Mm,
but it's not as inclusive and it's
no,
definitely not a democracy under any degree. It's under
no.
Grant Cardone.
I,
I mean, it's literally in his
I,
name.
honestly, I've been on some of Grant Condone's free webinars, and for the amount of money he charges an absolute fortune. I thought I'll get so much value from his free webinars. I got so much. I thought,
Well, I
and
was
most of it was old hat.
right. Well, I've been a member of the actual Grant Cardone University.
Yeah,
So I mean he teaches you how to cold call like no
yeah,
one else.
yeah. I
And
mean,
then
he's
you get
very good at what he does. Very
oh
good at
yeah.
what he does. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Sorry,
I,
digress
I,
again. Here I am
Oh no.
digressing
no,
us from the subject.
no, it's all right. I say these things, and I say that openly because I've studied quite a number of the big names in the industry. Um, the person I've got the most value out of, I'd freely say, is Rich Litvin. He's the founder of the 4% Club, 4% top coaches in the world.
Can you
He's
say that one
phenomenal.
more
He's
time?
about Rich Litvin. Rich Litvin. He's
Okay, thank you.
he is he's basically he counts among his clients special forces leaders, NASA scientists, presidential candidates. That's the kind of level he's coaching at. He's very, very, very good, but he's completely different style to most of the others. I just happen to like his style. But there's a lot of highly successful coaches out there. Uh, I just happen to resonate with. I say to everybody, you're going to find who you resonate with, and that's who you should go with. I've gone with
Exactly.
a mixture of people. Gone a mixture of people.
Who can be your
Yeah,
mentor? Who can be your
yeah,
mentor? And
Yeah.
I've said this before. I feel like Mr. Finch is like my father who passed away. You know, not to say he passed away, Mr. Finch, but he's fulfilling
yeah,
that role
yeah.
before, and I feel like that.
Which,
So
which, just like,
he is like my mentor to me. So you know, I'm his you know what I'm saying? So again, it
yeah,
depends on those things. I
who
think we
you
did
connect with. Yeah,
amazing. This is again, we didn't even scratch anything yet. So
yeah,
we,
yeah,
we
yeah.
I think we should come
This is
back
it.
on I think we
Yeah,
come back next week and we'll
we'll
everyone
choose some
on the
more.
right
Yeah,
kick around
choose some more.
this week. What do you think a good gift, another gift that we give
Yes.
back to the veteran
Yeah,
community that says who are they going to be the great people that are going to actively be engaged with us during this rough and ready stage?
yeah,
What gift we can we give you guys? And again, this is going to prove that our democratic system works. Okay, so
Absolutely.
this is another test. It's a
Yeah.
test to see, does this democratic system work? I don't know. Nobody ever did it.
Yeah.
When the
Yeah.
Constitution of the United States was written, anybody knew it was gonna work? No, no one ever did it.
Nope,
So they were,
nope, nope.
right.
And what we're going to do is, once this recording is finished, we're going to I'll save it, and we're going to post it up. So those people who couldn't make the meeting tonight, they can watch the recording, and you'll hear everything we said. There's nothing hidden. It'll all be up, raw as it is. It'll all be up, and we'll sort this out so that more people can come on next week and come in and engage in these conversations and see exactly what we do. It's, yeah, so it's fantastic.